today talk is it's again a very great talk for us because we have one of the greatest innovators, Mr. Dr. Sriram Vasudevan with us today. And he's the author of more than 41 books published all over the globe. And he has presented 126 research journals and 28 journals on international and national conferences and publications. And also, he's the person who mentored three different startups uh, in a very short span of 14 years. So we're really glad to have him here, and we like to hear a lot from him. So once his presentation is done, and I think we have a lot of things to be asked from him. So go ahead. So the stage is yours, sir.
All right. Good evening, Sudarshan. Good evening, everybody. And it's a very nice platform for me to talk it again to a group of people. I'm really very happy for that. And yeah, today what is the topic? The topic is pretty simple. Everyone is talking only about innovation all these days, and I'm no different. I'm going to talk about that as well. So we will talk about the innovation ranges, from where it can start, how do we innovate, what are all the hindrances you will get, and how do you really have to face the challenges that you are getting. And most of the time, if you see, people will start working towards it, people will go almost close to it, but they will definitely not complete it because of many reasons. So how do we really not get into that kind of a situation where we succumb to pressure? All these are going to be discussed today. I'm going to tell you a lot of stories. It's going to be like bedtime stories for you. I'll tell you a lot of good stories, and from the stories, I will tell you how did we innovate. All the problems that I faced are the reasons for my innovation. I faced a hell of a lot of problems. In fact, when I walk, when I drive, when my grandmother fell in the bathroom, there are so many reasons that I really can tell you which help me in innovating. So innovations is all about very simple things. I tell you, innovation need not be rocket science. Let's understand that very clearly. If we have to innovate only at that level, we will never innovate. So let's not understand that way. Let's understand that even if the simplest of things that you do changes your lifestyle or anybody's lifestyle by 1%, that can be called as an innovation. If you are improving something by 1%, let's call it innovation. Very simple. I'm going by that way, and I stand by that very sincerely. I'll tell you some example. 3 years back, I and my dad were coming back from interior Tanjavur to my hometown. Tanjavur is a very famous village, a very famous town for temples. You must be knowing that. It's nearby Trichy. We are coming from some nearby village to my hometown, and there was an insect which fell on my father's eye. Insect, you know that it's pretty common. Insects fall on eyes, and we immediately feel like an elephant staying inside our eye. That's how we all react. And my father is no different. He reacted the same way. So I had to stop the vehicle. I splashed water on his eyes, and the eyelid was pulled out. It was punched, and we got the insect out. But next day morning when he woke up, his eyes were like really elephant eyes. So it was so big. One of his eyes really got swollen up. It was like this big, really. And what happened is we then went to a doctor. We rushed, and I was really worried because eye is something that is very important. We went, and then the doctor analyzed, and the doctor said that it's just because one of the legs of the insect stayed inside. One of the smallest legs. The insect was very small. It has a very small legs, but it felt really like an elephant inside. And one of the legs stayed inside during the process of flushing. And immediately we crushed our eyes, right? So it was there. And he had to undergo 1 hour process, and then they removed it. Then he is all fine. Then what we did is very simple. I came back to Coimbatore. We started working on a product which can avoid insects falling in your eyes. Very simple. In a helmet, I can have sensors. The sensors can provide frequency. The frequency will not be hearable by insects. It cannot be tolerated by insects. 0 to 20 hertz, you know all those fundamental physics. So we created that noise which the insects cannot tolerate. The moment they come nearby, this noise will trouble them and they leave. This is innovation for you. Very simple. Whenever we have a problem, if that is the problem for many other people, and if there is no solution available for it, yes, you are an innovator, you have an idea with you, and in fact, that's a business idea. That's why you need to think about it. It's a business idea. So whenever we talk about business, whenever we talk about startups, I keep talking to a lot of startups, and I keep mentoring a lot of people, and I learn from a lot of people as well in parallel who are running successful startups. But the point is very simple. It need not be always a very high funda solutions that you need to provide. It can be a very small thing. the side stand of the vehicles. If you see, if you take Royal Enfield, if you tell that, guys, there is no side stand anymore, it's going to be only center stand, would you buy Royal Enfield? No, you will stop buying those kind of big bikes, because most of us will be incapable of pulling the center stand. It's very heavy, right? The side stand is an innovation. Very simple. You must have heard of the innovation, which you must have seen every day in your offices or campuses. The sprinkler, the water sprinkler for watering all the grassy surfaces. There will be a sprinkler and there will be a stopper in between. The stopper will splash the water every few seconds. That's a stepper motor. It keeps running like this, it will splash. That's the simplest of innovation, I can tell you. A very simple thought process. Okay, I need to spray water, otherwise going every corner. Now when I stop it, when I splash it properly out, it's going to be very useful, right? It's the simplest of innovation. Our earlier people, I mean the previous generation people and the generation before that, they had the biggest innovation. The most sold product in the world, safety pins. The most sold product is safety pins. It's an innovation. None of our ladies in our country go out without a safety pin, right? It's a simple innovation. So all these need be technical, can be technical, or need not be technical. Again, innovation need not be technical. Again, it can be non-technical also. It can be a process, it can be a product, it can be anything that gets your life easier. So that's how I feel it. Now, this is my perspective again. So I'm going to show you some of the products that I have built along with my team, which has been now promoted by startups, promoted by other venture capitalists to make it a market available product. And I will show you all those right now. Let's first start with something which is very common for you. If you are riding in Indian roads, Indian roads are very difficult to drive, by the way, as you all must be knowing. You must have seen that the people lifting phone like this while they are driving. They'll drive like this, particularly two-wheeler I'm talking about. They'll drive like this and they'll see the phone. And they'll do like this most of the time, right? So I have lost a person in my family because of this kind of crude accident. And somebody's mistake has killed my relative. So that's a point. So we suffered for about 8 years to come out of it, and that created a lot of ripples. And it's all painful. So why should I suffer for somebody else's problem, somebody else's mistake? It's a crude mistake of somebody who did not have any sense by using mobile phone on the road, and it killed somebody. Very simple. In seconds, it happened. So we then started doing a lot of research. I wanted to do some solutions. I wanted to give some solutions for that. I started doing a research, and I understood that in the year 2018, it is 1.3 million accidents in Indian roads which have happened just because of mobile phone usage. Would you believe that? 1.3 million accidents just because of mobile phone usage. So huge a count, and Tamil Nadu tops in the list. We are the toppers. Not only in UPSC examinations, other examinations, CBSE examinations, we top in this list as well. And the age group of the people who die are all between almost 18 to 25. So India's strength is the human resource, and particularly the strength comes from the population which is so young, between 18 to 40, and we form the pillar. And if this pillar is shaken, if this pillar gets shook totally, it's going to be a problem. So these people are taking mobile phone just like that. They either meet with accidents or they get some other people into accident mode. It is not correct. Either you die or I die, it's a problem. It should not happen. Either you get injured or I get injured, it's a problem. It's a permanent injury. Most of the cases, it gets permanent, irreparable injury. I'm talking only about the number of accidents happen because of mobile phone usage. I did not talk about the overall amount of accidents. Then we need more numbers, right? Then we went deeper into it. The in-depth analysis helped me in understanding one point, that these people are taking mobile phone out for 2 or 3 reasons. The first reason that they all say is, I got a call, it was an emergency call. First point. Everyone, I do not know how it can be emergency. The emergency will follow only when you attend the call. That's the real point. So they attend the call, and that's creating a problem. Second, what they say is, I wanted to take it just for fun, to see if somebody is calling. People are there who cannot live without this for 5 minutes. They take it out, see it. Take it out, see it. I do not know. If nobody is messaging, they are going to message themselves. That's the kind of people that I'm talking about. They take it, very addicted. And we can't do much about it. We'll have to pray for them, that's all. The third set of people is the one who deliver the food, the one who deliver the pizzas for you. They take mobile phone out quite frequently because for the navigation checks. They go to a lot of places every day. We cannot blame them. And they are not falling into the first and the second category, which is doing it by purpose. This category people have to do it because they have to deliver food and it's their livelihood. They cannot delay it. And in India, if you see, Ambulances will not reach you on time, unfortunately. But pizza reaches you within 40 minutes. If pizza doesn't reach you within 40 minutes, these pizza sellers will tell you, I'll give you the pizza for free. And who gives that money? It comes partly from the guy who is delivering it. His incentive is cut, probably his salary is cut apart, and the company is also going to take over the loss. It's going to share the loss. I then went in depth into the research of how much loss would be the delayed food delivery is going to cost you. 6.5 billion UK pounds per year. 6.5 billion UK pounds is the loss that totally is incurred all over the world because of delayed food delivery. It's such a huge money, right? So these guys are trying to avoid it. So how do they avoid it? Sir, very simple. You are ordering food from Chennai. Chennai is a very complex area. It is very congested. There are so many lefts, rights, centers are there. If you are ordering for food, and how do they spot you? How do they deliver you the food within 40 minutes? They will have to use the map, no other option. And they cannot stop with the auto driver. Auto Anna, can you please help me? That won't happen anymore because all of them are busy. So these guys use the phone for it. And this also causes about 30% of the total accidents. So we wanted to give a solution. Now you should not take the phone out, but you should use the map. How do you use it? Very simple. We innovated. This is innovation. For it's a very simple innovation. If I tell you, you will tell that yeah, this is possible. This can be done. This is very easy. That's what you're going to tell me. Right? How did we do it? Very simple. I will give you a pair of gloves. I'm going to give you a pair of gloves. You need to wear the gloves, and the gloves has got electronic circuits embedded in it, and it has got LEDs, bright OLEDs. Okay, and it has got a vibration module inside. Now, what will we do? Very simple. We will give you an Android app. The Android app should be it is exactly similar to your map because we are going to use the same extracts from the APIs and we are going to use that. Now, what do we do is very simple. You will have to set the source and destination, just like what you do in the map. The moment you set it, this device will be on and this gets paired with your mobile. That's it. All the map updates that comes in your mobile phone will come to your glove now, and the glove will be indicating you where to go. If you have to go left, the left LED will flicker. If you have to go right, the right LED will flicker. If you have to go straight, both the LEDs will flicker. All the 18 maneuvers that are supported by Google are all supported by us because we are extracting the same directions API, geolocations API, and multiple APIs for implementing it. Very simple. Now you need not take your phone out. And if you keep seeing this, sir, if I keep seeing this, that will also cause accident. No, sir. Yes, that's a very honest question. That's why we have had a vibrator module there, which will mildly vibrate you to tell that there is a change in the direction. Please look into it. That's it. And another very important point, sir, there are 3 lefts just ahead of me. Which left should I take? How will I know that? If your left or right is above 50 meters, I'll flicker it slow. The LED flickering rate will be slow. If it is below 50 meters, the flickering rate will be faster to let you know that you are nearing it, so that you won't miss it. And if you have missed the mobile phone or if you are missing the glove, there is a caution that will come as you miss it. Separation alert is also given. That's it, very simple. All these are done in-house and we spent around 800 rupees to build all of this, right? And most important point, COVID-19 has started social distancing, right? All of us are telling that term right now, social distancing. Yes, I'll have to tell that as well. Before COVID-19 came, this product was built. We have added an NFC module there, right? NFC is near field communication, which can accept payments without you touching it. I'll show my glove, you can show your card, it will accept the payment and you can leave. Very simple, so no touch, right? Can I show you the demo for it? It's a very simple product, yet a very effective product. Yeah. The next one is going to be pretty interesting. I'll talk about it once this is done. Let's go step by step. 1 second. Let me know if you can see the screen once I enable it. 1 second. Can you see the screen, all of you? I have shared a screen. Can you see the screen? I'm going to play the video demo right now. This is the demo for the product that we have built towards avoiding the accidents because of mobile phone usage.
Friends, you can see the complete demo here. We have got an app readily available for you, and that app will let you set the source and destination. We have tried this in the nearby location, and the destination is none other than the same building. Once the destination is set and the mode is selected as in walking or driving, you need to pair your equipment, and once the pairing is all done, you will get a go clearance from our device. If you have a left or right, based on that, the LEDs will start flickering. If the distance that you need to go to reach that left or right is less than 50 meters, the LEDs will flicker fast. Otherwise, it will flicker normally. That will let you breathe. Now here you can see that I got a left turn and it is less than 50 meters, hence the flickering of the LED is fast. And after that, I head towards a straight road which is above 100 meters. It is actually above 200 meters. So here in our app, we have calculated it as above 100 meters and both the LEDs will glow until such time the straight road covers the stretch of 100 meters or above. If it becomes less than that, the next right or left, whatever you take, would be indicated to you through the LED indication. And you can see that now we are going to head a right hand side, so the right hand side LED is glowing. Since we have fast forwarded the video, it was a long walk, it was about 700 meters. You can see that the flickering appears faster, but it will appear much more faster when you go less than 50 meters. That will be clearly visible shortly, which you can also observe right now. And one important point for you to understand is we are getting all these feed from Google Directions API, and all the data, whatever is being given by Google, is extracted by us completely, and we are using it in our system, and that's all shown in the right hand side of your screen. And you can see that the flickering is fast right now. This is what I referred some time back. This was taken nearby location and it was a heavy traffic time last evening. Hence there is a light delay there. You can see that that's the snag that we faced last night for the recording. And all this happened real time. The data acquisition, the analysis, the update of LED status, everything happens real time. And this is the straight road that we need to follow to head to our office, which we are standing right now. All these updates are given real time. And one important point that I would like to stress here is you need not keep watching the LED. We have got a module for vibrator. The vibrator will let you know that there is going to be a change, so please look into it. And that too, a left vibrator, right vibrator, both are there. So it will help you out in figuring out which direction do you need to really take. And that's the cool navigation cloud for you.
How was it, friends? Did you like it?
It was really great, sir. Really innovative.
It is. It is just 800 to 900 rupees that I spent for getting this implementer. Just that. Nothing more than that. And we have got the first prize in the NEC hackathon. NEC is Nippon Electric Corporation. We have got the prize in Titan Innovation Contest, second prize. Rackathon, conducted by Rakuten Japan, has awarded us the first prize in their international hackathon. So this particular product has been very close to my heart, and this is now being productized. So we are working on how do we get this to the market, and this is very affordable. I have shown this product to somebody by name Mr. Shibulal. You must have heard of the name. He's the co-founder of the Infosys, right? So he was very appreciative about the product, and immediately he gave me an idea. Sriram, see, this product is pretty nice, and the biggest problem in India is mobile phone usage. I agree, but there is another problem. People are ignorant and they forget to use something called as indicator. There is something called as indicator in the bikes or cars. They don't use it at all. They feel that it is the duty and the moral responsibility of somebody to predict which direction I'm going to go if they are following me. I need to do a predictive analytics and I need to decide if you are going left or right. Then he told me that this is a very good product which can be also used as automatic indicator, because you set the source and destination and these drivers need not put the indicators anymore and it's going to be automatic. Very simple. So we are now doing that as well, so that the indication becomes all automatic. It should not be troublesome. It should happen automatically. If you forget, it should not affect others. Because of our mistake, it should not trouble anybody. So that's what the final thought process that we had all about the product. And I'm going to talk about the next product, which should be pretty interesting as well. Every state in the country has got water problem. Particularly Tamil Nadu, if you see, we are consistently in trouble. Though we have so many water resources, we have so many, real good amount of water resources are there. But drinking water is always a problem. Most of you, I don't know where are you guys from. If you are in Tamil Nadu or in Bangalore or wherever from, it becomes a habit for us to buy water. The can water purchase has become very consistent right now, and it takes budget from our regular expenses. We spend about 3,000 rupees every month for buying water. Just think about 15-20 years in the past. When you were a school kid, when you were doing your 10th standard, did you buy water? I'm sure you would not have bought. I'm sure your parents would not have bought. It's all the groundwater that we had consumed. We consumed 100% groundwater. We used the pump. I remember using pump in my home way back in my school times. And there also now it is very unfortunate to see that they are buying water can in my hometown. Tanjavur, they have Kaveri and the river is running very loud and noisy with a lot of water. But still, we are buying only the can water, 70 rupees per bottle. And if they give you an offer, you will be very happy. 69.99 rupees only. You'll be happy. That's how it is going. So we spend a lot of money really for getting our basic right, the water, right? And that to drinking water. Now, our grandparents are really surprised to see that we are buying water, really. So we spend 3,500 rupees every month. Per week, 6 bottles are being spent at least. Now the point is simple. Sir, what is this, sir? Why are you talking about it? Very simple. There is a board available in every state. Every state has got a board for water quality monitoring. And there is a water resource board available everywhere. And now, those boards are responsible to monitor the quality of the water. Right? They need to monitor and they need to send a periodic report and they will have to take action in case they see that anything is getting deviated. But all these are manual. They send people inside the lake or a river or any water resource. Those people will take water in 20 such water cans and they will mark it 1, 2, 3 like that from 20 different places or 30 different places based on the spread of the river or the lake, whatever. And they will come back to the lab. This will be handed over to the lab. And now the lab technician will start analyzing the quality of the water. And each water bottle will cost you about 250 rupees per analysis. And they give you a report, detailed report will come, pH, nitrate, dissolved oxygen, all these things will be there and they will analyze it and they will give you a written report. And that report will come to you after about 10 days. Now, one simple question. You are taking a report, great. You are analyzing quality, fantastic. But when the report comes after 10 days, what is the use? It has to be instantaneous, right? It has to be immediate because if you have to take action, it has to be immediate. Any judgment which is delayed judgment and is useless. So this is actually like a delayed judgment which is useless. Now why, sir? Very simple. Within the 10 days time frame, there could be rains, there could be more sunshine, there could be more water bodies which could move inside. I mean, more water living organisms like fish or crocodiles or anything can move inside that could change the flow of the water. There are a lot of things that can happen in the water. Water is very unpredictable. So if you want to find the quality, find it immediately. It cannot be 10 days later. It cannot be day after tomorrow. It has to be immediate. I'm telling about even next day. You should not analyze it next day. You should do it today. Right? There is a lake called as Lake Jefferson in US. You can Google it later when you have time. It is called as the smartest lake in the world. Smartest lake. What do you mean by, sir? Very simple. If you ask them what would be the quality of water, 2025 November 15th, they will tell you now. Because they have collected millions and millions of TBs of data about that lake and they made it really smart. They now know when the water flow will be more, when the water flow will be lesser, when it will be more concentrated, when the water is consumable, when the water needs to be treated. All this they know. That's just because of innovation. They have so many sensor data there. They take data from the water and they analyze it. That's in the US. I wanted to look into it much more detailed and I had a team of 3 people working with me for this. And what we did is we went to analyze what exactly is the Clean Ganga project all about. It's such an innovation, I'm telling you. It's beautiful innovation. It's a great product, no doubt about it. Because they have spent a lot of money and it's a real cool product where they get the complete details of Ganga real time. I'll show you that right now as well if possible. I'm going to see right now that. What they do is they get the complete data about Ganga and they display it and actions are taken accordingly. That's it. Okay. 1 second. Just give me 1 second. I'll try to find out the link because they normally have a link where they update it. If I'm able to get it, that's great. Otherwise, I'll tell you how exactly it looks like. So what they do is they have planted sensors deep inside the river. Okay, multiple sensors. That's called nodal network units. They planted it deep inside the river, and the data is transmitted from deep inside the river to their servers, and they collect the data, they analyze it, and they display it immediately. Immediate display. It happens. But the problem is it's very expensive. For a nodal network unit, they have to spend around in crores minimum because it's very, very expensive. And another point is if there is a repair, if there is a problem in the sensors, it requires manual intervention. A human has to go inside and they'll have to fix it up. And it's very risky to go inside, deep inside Ganga or such a kind of very electric rivers. So also third very important point, if you see, the water that you consume is not from the deepest level, it's from the surface level. So the water normally we drink immediately is from the surface level. So analyzing the water at the deepest level might not be really very good. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to get a real cool solution for it, which is also inexpensive at the same time it's very effective. That's what we wanted to do. So what did we do? Very simple. We built a boat. We built a very stable boat. The boat had sensors on the bottom line of it, and this boat will go around. I'll get the boat going around. I'll preset the source and destination. It will collect the data. Immediately it will analyze, throw it onto the cloud. We'll do a quick data analytics and we'll give you a clear path map in your Android phone. All in seconds. I'll show you the demo for it. It's all built by three of my students and me together. And what we did is very simple. We have won the Cisco ID8 national contest first prize. We got the first prize in the Cisco ID8 national contest for this product. I'm going to show you the product right now. I hope you will be definitely happy to see that. Let me show you that. 1 second, just give me 1 second. And all these are called innovation in my perspective. Because the point is very simple. Anything when you make it easy, anything when you make it better, anything when you make it economical, I call it innovation. That's what is innovation all about. Innovation need not be very, very expensive. Innovation need not be very intelligent. Innovation can be normal, like what we have done. Now I request you to see the demo.
Water is one of the most important resources that we have today. 97.5% of the available water resources are salty. That means we cannot use it right away. Only 2.5% of the fresh water is available, and out of which 2/3 is already locked in polar ice caps and glaciers. Only 0.5% of the water is consumable, and that's what we are using for agriculture, industry, and day-to-day activities as well. Due to the increased pollution, every day there is pollution here. Increased pollution, the water crisis has increased, and World Health Organization says that 0.007% of water only is consumable and is potable. Due to this pollution, 1 billion people in the world today are denied with appropriate sanitation and water resources. Due to this, the most affected countries and region are Africa, Latin America, and Asia. We suffer with water crisis. When there is a problem, there is always a solution to it. We are coming up with a solution of smart water, which is going to ease the quality monitoring, and all these are done real time with cost-effective approach as well. We have done a simple but effective and frugal product for you to monitor the quality. We have built an USV, which is called Unmanned Surface Vehicle, with all techno capabilities which can monitor the quality, and there are 5 versions for it. This is the first version where we have built our boat in a plastic throwaway material. This is an USV. In the first version, we just tested it for navigation. You can see that we have taken 7-Up bottles as floaters in 2 sides. Everything is built by us from the scratch, and this is a great engineering work that we have done from the scratch for us to build this USV. We tested it in our university's water resource, and it was very nicely navigating, and we had just 2 simple microcontroller boards and Bluetooth modules for supporting our navigation. We used the phone's accelerometer for moving the boat left, right, forward, and back, and all these are done very nicely. You can see the propellers are also made by us, and this is tested for stability. The second version, we had to include the sensors, which are temperature sensors and pH sensors, we have included into the boat. And the USB then carried these sensors, and we started getting the data. The data about the pH of the water and the temperature of the water are all uptime, real time now. Now we need to use this data to do further analysis and to understand the quality of the water. But this boat is not stable, so we started building it up in a better way. And in the carpentry, we sat with our team and we built this beautiful USV. This is fully capable. All these are built by us right from the scratch, as I told you already. And this is a great learning for us. With a very simple investment, we did not invest much of the money here. So it is a very simple investment. We could build this boat with a simple circuitry. And this boat is 100% independent right now, that it can go collect the data and come back. The point is very simple. We are not taking 1 drop of water even back home. We are taking the data alone. We store data and we don't store water. We do not waste 1 drop of water even against the current method which is being handled all over the country. They collect water, they send it to the lab, they waste that water as well. We do not have that method. We collect data, we analyze it, we provide you real-time analytics. And you can see that the boat is fantastically moving forward and backward, left, right, all these. And we have also geotagged it right now with GPS support. It gives you the temperature data, pH data with geotagging. nicely, and that's going to be shown to you in the second part of this video. You can see that there is a tire tube which is kept under the boat, and that's from our car. Now, this is our 20x50 swimming pool in our university. We wanted to visualize how the data looks like, and we wanted to know if our boat works, our USV works fine in this kind of tough environment. So we made our boat flow, we made our boat go into this swimming pool for n number of times, and we collected a lot of data. This is a fast forward of the trial that we have run in our swimming pool in our university, and you can see that the boat is moving and it is collecting all data. I'll show you the data right now in the next few seconds so that you can understand how you can look the data, how the data can look like for your easier reference. We collected around 2000 entries of data per trial run, and we have a lot of data right now about our swimming pool. You can see the data collected in the left hand side, and the first column is the temperature, the second column is the pH, the third and the fourth columns are the lat and the longitude coordinates. And now we are going to see how we can generate the temperature ClarPath. I have set the value to 1 here, which is column 1, temperature, and I'm setting the range right now in front of you, and we will get the temperature ClarPath map generated. We have integrated the Google Earth to MATLAB, and it is spotting the swimming pool right away in front of you in a very nice way. And you can see that we have tested it on a very sunny day, so the temperature range is high. Now we are going to get the ClarPath for the pH. I have changed the values accordingly. I'm setting the range from 1 to 14, and when I generate the ClarPath map, I can get it immediately in front of me, and you can see it right now. And we have done it immediately after chlorine is added to it, so you can see that the pH is maintained in a very nice way. Now I'm trying to change it as well a little bit. I'm going to show you even the slightest of the changes which is being captured nicely in the ClarPath map by changing the values here. You can see that I'm changing the values right now, and when I generate it, it is going to show even the slightest of the changes, which is a very appreciable feature. And the most important point is we could generate this kind of data with a single sensor set. Now you can see that we have generated a perfect pH and temperature ClarPath map. We can add more sensors to it if we get more funding, and this can be made more meaningful and more data can be given. We can predict, we can analyze, and we can give you the perfect data without wasting one drop of water.
How was it? Was it good?
It was extremely great, sir. It was completely real-time and innovative.
Thank you. I am going to show you the way it is done right now. This is the results that you can see right now. So this is available live, and you can see that this is the live link that is given by Government of India, and they give you all the report. The biological oxygen demand, the temperature, the ammonia, chloride, COD, TSS, color, nitrate, everything is given, and this is the setup. So you can just scroll through the map, and you will get the points available here. You can see that this is the way they have done it. This is a very innovative system, very innovative system, and they get you the data real time. But the only problem is this is very expensive, as well as this might not be feasible for the surface level monitoring. So that's the only constraint we have here. So what I'm going to talk about is going to be my next clue for you right now. So how many of you have grandparents at your home? I have around 8 people here, 7, 8 people. How many of you have grandparents?
I don't have the privilege, but I think a few of other people
Yeah,
certainly
okay.
be having.
You must have had at least some time back, right, in the past. Have you ever heard of grandparents falling and they reporting fall to you quite frequently? When they become old, they tend to fall, right? They could have slipped in the bathrooms, they could have slipped elsewhere. It's quite natural, right? So if I tell you that this fall is the major reason for, and this fall is the primary reason for the death in elderly, would you believe it? World Health Organization says that 28% of the mortality rate in elderly is because of fall. 28%. It's such a huge amount. And every year, so many people fall. And if I tell you one statistic, you will be surprised. Once in every 20 seconds, all over the world, one elderly person is falling. Once in every 20 seconds. My lecture started before 40 minutes, so think of it, 20 seconds within that 40, so many elderly people have fallen. And the biggest point in the fall is, if you are a male and if you fall, the chances of your survival is higher. And if you are a female and if you fall, the chances of survival is limited, because calcium and other related problems are there for women when they go above 60. Right? Above 40 itself, they start getting the calcium issues. And when they are above 60, their bones are weaker. That's what the survey says. And this is one of the primary reasons for death, injury, permanent disability, and minor injuries as well. And the most important point is, I had a grandmother by name Jayalakshmi. She's the one who grew me up all the way. I'm what I am today because of her. She played a very vital role. I was a very naughty kid. I'm not studious. So whatever I have done now is not what I could have done if I am the same Sriram which I was in my schooling days. I was very naughty, very playful. So this lady is the one who used to push me. One fine morning, I got a call from my uncle. She was with my uncle that grandma fell in the bathroom, and it happened last night. She fell in the bathroom by 11:30, 12 in the night, and nobody noted it because it was night. And most importantly, we are having separate rooms for each other. The room is locked. Simple, right? Morning by 4:30, my uncle went to knock the door to deliver coffee. Every day 4:30, 5 o'clock, my grandma needs coffee, and he knocked the door. The door did not open, so he has to break open the door, and he had it. He had to do it, and he had done it. And he broke open the door, and in the bathroom, my grandma fell down, and there was a lot of bleeding that has happened, and she broke her vital parts, but she was still alive. She was rushed to hospital, and what happened is in next 3-4 days time frame, she was pretty much alive and conscious. There were around 3 or 4 operations that have happened, and all in the best of the hospitals in Chennai. It is one of the best hospitals in Chennai, by the way, and they were very supportive. Doctors were superb. They tried their best, and there was 3 or 4 surgeries. She was alive for a week, and I was pretty much near her. She told me only one word: "I could have preferred to die inside. You could have left me there itself." And the doctor said that it's because you have lost the golden hours. The golden hours are lost, and so that we have to go with many complications because the blood is lost. The injury has become more stronger, and that's because of the age. It becomes stronger as well. Eventually, when you get her not treated for about 6 hours, that's going to be very difficult. So she passed away in a week. That's the story. The moral of the story is, if somebody noticed her the moment she has fallen, we could have saved her, or we could have treated her better. So that's the story. So now, when the cremation is done, this happened before 3 years exactly. When the cremation is done, I came back, and from that moment, I started analyzing what is the cause for the fall. Can we prevent fall? Can we alert before the fall is happening? All this kind of analysis I started doing with my couple of very good students with me, and we understood one point, that we can never predict fall. It's very difficult because the fall may be because of a slip. Fall may be because of your heart rate going high and low. Fall may be because of your BP, and many issues are there, right? You never predict when you fall. It's very difficult, and it needs a lot of medical parameters, a lot of sensors, and other things are to be used there. That's pretty difficult. The point is very simple. What we wanted to know is, do we have a solution at least to alert the people that this lady has fallen, this old man has fallen? Can you help? This is the message that we wanted to give, and we started building a product which can alert the caretakers immediately about the fall. This is in Apple right now, but it's pretty expensive, and whatever we do, Apple cannot do it. It's pretty expensive with Apple. What we do is just 3,000 rupees. I'll show you the demo. Now, what we do is very simple. We have got the habit of eating, walking, all these things. There, the arms will go slow. You'll move the arms in a very slow fashion. But when you fall, both the arms will tend to move in a faster rate. The swing will be fast. So what happens is very simple. We get data which is different from the normal data. So we predict it as a fall. And second point, I wanted to alert you where the fall has happened. So what do? We have a sensor for GPS, as you know. The GPS sensor will give you the location. It might not be very accurate, but we have got a solution for that as well. I'll tell you that later. And then we wanted to alert the person who is a caretaker for that old lady or old man that there are nearby hospitals which can treat you right now, which can treat this lady or old man right now, because our brain won't work the way it has to work when there is a tension or pressure. So we suggest the hospitals. And this was submitted to a funding agency. And the funding agency asked me a question: Sriram, your grandmother fell in the bathroom. You cannot expect anybody to wear these kind of watches inside the bathroom and go. Which was pretty sensible. I had to agree to it. And then they said that you get a solution for that fall inside the bathroom, I will fund you. Then we came back, we broke our head, and for about 20 days we did not sleep well. Until you find a solution, you cannot sleep. So finally we found out that there is something called as piezoelectric plate. The piezoelectric plate, when you give an impact, it generates voltage outside. So we wanted to, it is non-corrosive, it is non-conductive. So we use that in the bathroom. The tiles are all made intelligent now. Over every tile we coined a piezoelectric plate. And when grandma stands there, or when you stand there, what will happen is, it will generate output voltage. When you stand, you will cover maximum 2 tiles, correct? Maximum 2 or 3 tiles you will cover. How much big you are, broad you are, you can cover only 3. But when you fall, how many tiles will you cover? Minimum of 5 to 6 tiles easily. How much ever short you are, you will cover 5 tiles. So if we get output voltage from 5 tiles at a point in time, we alert it as a fall, and we got the funding of rupees 11 lakhs towards setting up the startup for this product. Now it is a product. The company name is Lupus Vertec. Now the same product has been presented to multiple competitions, and one of them is Harvard University's Hack Harvard 2019. It's one of the most reputed, most honored, most valued contest. So we were in top 1500, top 500, top 300, top 20, 10, top 3, and we were the winners. We won the first place in the Hack Harvard Hackathon last year, and I went to Harvard University, Boston, for us to Massachusetts, for us to participate in that contest, and we got the first prize. We represented India, and we have taken China to third place. We have taken, I think, the second place went to Indonesia, and we got the first prize. And what we did there was a little different. I'll show you the demo right now, then you will definitely appreciate it. All these are done within an expense of about 2,000 to 3,000 rupees max. That's all. Pretty simple, easy to use, and pretty much affordable. Nobody will say that this is very expensive. And I hope this comes out in the market pretty soon. We are working on bringing it to the market, and this will be done shortly. I'm going to show you the demo right now. I hope you will definitely like it.
Hello. You can see that our equipment has been realized as a band here. When the person who is wearing it moves normally, walks, eats, plays, or does his regular activity, you won't get you an alert because the data would be consistent and it would not be abnormal. But in case of a fall, the data would be realized abnormal and it will cross the threshold whatever we have said, and we should get an alert immediately. Now Kaushik will fall and we should see if the system works. He has fallen, you got an alert, now you should get a call. We will go to the restroom implementation right now. We are going to show you the demo right now, and we should get a call when the fall is identified. First, we are blocking the resource, and now we are going to press the piezoelectric plate accordingly to prove our concept. Only one piezoelectric plate is pressed, which means it is only 2 tiles. We will not get any call or alert because it is a normal activity. Now we are going to press both the piezoelectric plates, which means the person has fallen over 4 tiles at least. We should get a call right now. Yes, the system functionally works fine, and we got a call. And this is how our system works fine inside the bathroom. Now we have got an Android app designed for you specifically, and this Android app is simple to use as well. The moment you log in, the world of using is very simple. I am now typing the username and password. The moment I type it and get in, I'll see the easiest UI that anybody can access. Now this will not only help in tracking the elderly live, but also it will help us in understanding the data, historic data about the health. Now you see that there are bands listed. The first step that we are going to do is to add band now. You can see that I'm clicking add band. We can give band usage number as new band, grandma, grandpa, something like that. And the moment you do it, you can get it listed, but we need to add the phone number of the caretaker also. So I'm going to add the phone number of the caretaker. Now it is done. The moment you do it, it is all listed and it is a perfect display right now. We can add as many bands as we want. Only thing is you need to give an appropriate phone number. Now this is how we spot the person for navigation. I mean, where is he inside the block? Now you can see that there are 3 beacons available and 2 bands spotted. The smallest circle here are the bands and the triangle circles are the beacons. And now we need to understand how to go into the place where the fall is reported. You can also see that the navigation support is given clearly for that, which is very easy for anybody to understand. Now the triangle is the place where the fall has been reported. It's very easy and very important for anyone to understand where the fall has been reported. Now, we are going to navigate to the fall location through Google Map. This will help us in outdoor fall, and this will be very easily loaded, as well as the suggestion about the nearby hospitals are also given in this case. You can see that now you are going in, and the nearby hospitals will also be displayed so that the person who is actually in trouble by then can be helped immediately without any delay. You can see the demo, and we can also have the complete analysis for each band. We can get the posture analysis, heartbeat analysis, and we can get a summary saying that is he stable and normal. All these happen real time. You can see the demo of indoor localization here. Kaushik is wearing the band and he is walking all along. This is the structure of our hostel, and the movement of Kaushik is immediately reflected in front of you. It is almost real time. There is a 1 second delay, which we could say, and we can see that in front of us. The beacons are reflected as a small dotted circle, which you can see in front of you. They are the Bluetooth beacons. This is the simplest setup that we have followed for indoor localization.
The indoor localization is a very innovative part that you will have to refer. Probably you can go through it whenever you find some time. It is very difficult to do. It's not easy to do. It's pretty difficult to do the indoor localization. And we have achieved 93% accuracy with indoor localization, which is never easy. Because GPS is 100% not accurate, and it will give you 20% deviation here and there. 20 meters, 30 meters deviation is always there. You must have observed it in the maps itself. It would say that we are 20 meter accurate, we are 20 meter, 30 meter accurate. We will get that message quite often, right? But we have overcome that as well. I wish to conclude my session here because I got another meeting by 5 o'clock. To me, let me conclude it quickly this way. To me and to everyone who wish to innovate, innovation is not complex. It has to be simple and it can be easy. If you find a problem and if you feel that the problem is to be solved mandatorily and many people have that problem, please take it up as a challenge, try it out and build solutions. And there are a lot of funding agencies which are readily accepting to help you and they are ready to fund you as well. These days funding is pretty easy, so try it out. And these days the resources are also available pretty much easy for you. You need not buy the cost list of boards. You need not buy the cost list of sensors. You can manage with the available low-cost sensors, available low-cost manufacturing boards for proof of concept. You build a proof of concept, go around building it stronger, add more features, pitch for funding. You will get the fund and you can shine. All the startups that I have been working are all done this way. There is no difference. All the startups will build a proof of concept. We'll see if it is working. We'll see if it is consistently working. Then we'll pitch for funding. We get funding and we grow. That's it. So I thank the entire team for getting me this opportunity. This is a real cool opportunity for me and I'm very happy to talk to you people. And I have posted my link for YouTube. I have posted a lot of videos there which are very innovative as well. I believe you will like that. So please go ahead and check it out whenever you have time. And let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to take it up.
I'll go first. So first of all, I'm very thankful for this session, sir. It's been really
Thank you. My pleasure.
And seeing someone from our locality grow to this level is kindly inspiring because it's from our locality and our people growing is inspiring.
Definitely.
And about the things you said, you don't have to be don't have to be so technical or put in a lot of money to be innovative. That is the
Correct.
inspiring part. So I wish success for you, sir, and for all your projects. And I'll keep on following you in all your aspects.
Definitely.
Regarding this kind of non-technical innovation, sir. So we spoke a lot about technical innovation. So and you have been mentoring and raising funds for your startups.
Correct.
So if there are someone from a non-technical startup basis or from a non-technical innovator or kind of any manual kind of talent or something like that. So if he wants to set his things done, so what he should do if it is a non-technical person?
No, he should first find the right mentor for identifying. There are now mentors available. They'll take a real good time from you. They'll understand and they will curate this idea. If it is process oriented, it's going to be a bit tough because innovations mostly come technically in terms of products and it comes mostly in terms of processing, non-technical innovation. So there are already proven processes which are very successful in the market. Many people follow it, many companies follow it. So you need to have a person who is really very strong, who can tell you that, boss, you have done something, this is going to change it. So that kind of maturity should be there because non-technical innovations are to be proven and somebody should believe that, yeah, this is going to change the way the productivity is going to come for us. The productivity is very low right now, tomorrow it will be nice. So the first point is that have a mentor. Second point is that try it out in the company that you know. You need to get results, get testimonials. Once you get the testimonials, once you tried it out, probably what happens is your chances for getting it funded is higher. Without funding, you cannot move for a long time. Most of the startups commit suicide because they do not have funding. So the point is simple. We need to have funding. So without funding, things won't work. So prove yourself with some small company, some startup. and they'll be ready to accommodate you for sure because they get something and you get your experience. That's the best way you can handle it.
Really, actually, it's 100% true, sir. So finding a mentor and growing with a small company and
Correct.
getting the right funds.
Correct.
So we are really happy to have you down, sir. And I just opened this forum for any other people down here. So
Yeah,
for any other questions.
Any questions, gentlemen and ladies?
Yeah, so I think people have got everything you said. So
Perfect.
I think I'm really happy for having you, sir. And this
My
going to be a
pleasure.
long-term relationship. And
Yeah.
whatever you do and how high you grow, I will be always there to support you, sir.
Thank you, and that's a great honor for me. And convey my thanks to Anand Vishwanathan. I think his full name Anand, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Anand, you are VP, I believe. So please convey my thanks to him because he's the one who told me about this ED talks. He's not here today, so please convey my honors and as well as thanks to him.
Yeah, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks for
Right.
being here, sir.
Thank you very much, Sudarshan. Bye bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. All the
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.